exist. I was telling somebody who happens to be in the studio with me right now, earlier tonight, that there is a VFW here in Toronto. And if you go up to that VFW about 4:30 in the morning, there will be a number of buses, unless, because I talk about it, they've now changed, but I doubt that, I bet they're still there. Every morning about 4:30, 5 o'clock or so, and they're sitting there waiting for all these employees to go to Area 51. The funny thing is, right on the side of the buses, it says Area 51. It actually says Area 51. And one of these days, I'm going to go up there with a camera, and I'm going to take some pictures of those buses for you, and I'll put it up on the net. So anyway, we're going to be looking for people who either retired from Area 51 and can now talk, or people who presently work at Area 51 and wish to tell us what's going on up there, because we all have deep suspicions about what's happening there. So I'm just going to sort of open a line and see what happens. Now, we may not get any calls. I have no way of knowing. You know, when I open these lines, I have no way of knowing. It is, however, ringing. Now, whether it's ringing from somebody who actually was at Area 51, or it's ringing because somebody is listening to me right now saying, don't call that line, I have no way of knowing, but we will find out shortly. Okay. Dare I venture forth my Area 51 line? Sure I do. Let's see what we get. On my Area 51 line, you are on the air. Good evening.
Hello, Mr. Bell.
Hello there.
It's so good to hear you.
It's good to hear you too. Are you going to tell us from where you are calling, or would you rather keep that secret?
I cannot tell you.
Okay, well that makes sense.
But I can tell you who you can call me. That is actually my first name.
What is your first name?
Yes, you can call me Steve.
Steve.
Yeah.
Figures.
Oh, by the way, I was not the guy who sent all the faxes about the suitcase bombs.
Okay,
I was not that.
not that Steve.
No.
All right. Did you work, or do you work at Area 51?
I did, but more so to the point. I actually lived there for a time.
You live there?
Yeah.
Well, I guess I guess that makes sense in a way. That a lot of people who live there either commute from Las Vegas or my little town of Pahrump, or they actually reside there, which I bet they love, because then you can't go talk to people.
Well, actually, when you say Area 51, do you mean only Groom Lake
Oh no.
or Town?
Oh no. I mean S4. I mean any of the interesting areas. You worked in S4.
That's the area where I live.
Oh my. Now S4 is where it is said they had the goodies.
Oh, yeah. I haven't been ordered to discuss.
I've been ordered.
I've been ordered to discuss or not.
You've been ordered to discuss it.
Yes, they were aware of your show, and it was, well, we knew it wasn't going to be on last night, so I didn't want that.
Oh my. Well, you know Bob Lazar, who lives in Las Vegas.
Are you talking now?
Yes, indeed, I've interviewed Bob Lazar. And he claims that there have been any number of saucers, actual saucers, recovered saucers, back engineered, that he was part of that, and that they were flown out of S4. Can you confirm his story, for starters?
Yes. It happened before he was even there. At some point, there was notification that they were not meant to be flown in the air, that what you're seeing in the air is not coming from Area 51.
It is.
Coming from all of UFOs and all that. None of that's coming from Area 51. Those things out there are broken. And the one that he saw sitting there probably were in a state very safe to disappear, in my opinion.
Really?
Yeah, and they were like, you know, where you have junk. Everybody's got junk. But if you've got junk like that, you're not going to take the plane to. Makes sense.
No, you're not.
So you've got to just kind of leave it to the
When you say junk, we should qualify that. Extraterrestrial junk.
What would you call extraterrestrial?
Something not of Earth origin.
Would Earth in a parallel time line do?
You bet it would.
Would that qualify as extraterrestrial?
You're damn right. But in my mind it would. In other words, it certainly is in the realm of paranormal. So what you're telling me is that what's up there came not from another physical place, but another dimension parallel to ours.
Yes, and no. It's both. The triangular objects were hand-me-downs that were no longer needed, and they were given to the people in the other timeline, who then turned against the people that originally gave them.
You're saying you were ordered to come and save all this time?
Yes.
Why?
Because it is, yesterday was September 11th. Or it is September 11th on your time.
It is still now September 11th, my time, yes.
It is the day of the Mars Square, enters the orbital phase of its mission.
You're exactly right. They have fired the slowing rockets, and I understand they have done that successfully, they believe. And spacecraft will go into a polar orbit around Mars, slowly mapping the entire
It
planet.
will be finished in March of the year 1998. And
What do you think they'll find?
I already know what's going to happen.
Well, then that makes you a doubly valuable person. What? Great job.
Okay, as they come down to the pole, at first they're going to be mapping an area that originally had a lot of water. So what you see during the ocean, a lot of dried up here.
So,
But it's all solid rock, obviously, based on the sun and all that. When you get down to latitude about 40 degrees north of the Martian equator, you're going to see some pretty interesting things.
like what?
The Cydonia region.
Yes.
The Cydonia region has a counterpart region, and they're going to find that.
Really? Now, when you speak of Cydonia, you speak of the phase on Mars
And
and
the city is the rail launcher.
all that stuff.
And the rail launcher is the most interesting to me.
Top rail launcher.
The rail launcher.
That's a gun.
No. The rail launcher is a shell type vehicle that was abandoned, and it sits on this rail inside a fortress.
A fortress. This is a lot of the kind of stuff that David Oates talked about when he reversed the speech of the NASA guys.
Oh, yes.
So you're saying all of that is true?
Yes, but they remember all that comes from what they were thinking subconsciously, more or less. And it could get jumbled together. I'm not very familiar with it. I didn't heard it happening at the time. But I don't recall that.
Why would your bosses want this information out?
Because of what's about to happen next year.
What pray tell?
There's going to be some, how should we say, major extreme revelations next year. And everything's got to be in place for that happens. Meanwhile, pressure is building, for to throw it all out on the table right now. And I'm one that don't think it's appropriate.
Personally,
No, I mean, all of it, right? I'm all for the 98.
so you're sort of dribbling information out to get people prepared.
Yes, but my greatest concern is they won't be prepared enough. And I mean, I'm in trouble with what's happening.
You want to lay out your cards and what's going to happen?
You mean 1998?
Yes, sir.
Well, first of all, that's more of the same, more dribbling as you call it for starters. But then, of course, you mean the main here.
Main event, yes, sir. We bet.
Well, now that was basically on, I got a book over here, it's got it all laid out. I'm trying to get here.
I don't mind a bit. You go right ahead.
Just a second.
All right. We're talking to a current Area 51 employee, he says, and there is a book that lays out what's going to occur. He's talking about
Yeah, I
1998.
got it.
All right, and then in 1998, you said you've got a date. Your page is carrying.
Yep, got it. July 20th, 1998.
Oh, Richard Hoagland, something like that. July 20th.
Richard Hoagland.
Yeah. Now that's an important date.
through the 11th. Okay. Anyway, the point is that, do you recall any certain caller who might have called you on the Saturday morning office night, during the night where you had the so-called MIB line?
Yes, I remember the MIB line, certainly. And during the course of this very conversation right now, I'm wondering why Matt Black are moving in on you.
Oh, they can.
Huh. Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
That sounds to me like the soldier in the foxhole says that they'll, everybody around me might die, but I'm not.
Well, I've been out there a few bar cells myself, I'll tell you.
Well, it's that kind of psychology. What do you mean they can't get to you?
Well, to tell them what to do.
You're that high in the food chain.
Well, unfortunately, it is a food chain, yes. And unfortunately for me, I'll occasionally learn the hard way. Since I didn't call you on this morning, I don't know if you recall.
Listen, these beings, are they as we are, or are they different? Do they look to be extraterrestrial in origin, even though they're
You mean Area 51 or in general, or what?
well, you said they're extra-dimensional, not extraterrestrial. So do they appear to be extraterrestrial, or do they appear exactly as we do in form?
Okay, this is hard to explain, but there's two levels. One level is, if you knew what to look for, yeah, you can tell they're people. But if you say, no, so just pass me in there.
So they could be wandering around in our streets now, ETs, and we, well, I just,
Well, a few more than they used to be. There's about,
how about if I call them EDs, extra-dimensionals?
yeah, but see, if you could reel one of them, let's say you had a best case scenario, you had a hypnotized, so it NSO, reverse speech, everything. And you got everything out of that. You would never find out who was giving them the order. It's not me, by the way. Because they're getting programmed from planet in this timeline in space.
Why are you revealing all of this now?
Because of the amount of material that's going to be revealed next year would be unintelligible unless this was here.
Lay it out first.
This is not, in other words, I could talk for 10 hours and we would have shit at the edge of the iceberg. That's just an example.
What is the purpose then of Area 51?
Now they've got different
I'm sorry, S4 or whatever you want to call it. In other words, what is the main?
secrets.
Yeah.
Now or in the past or both?
Yes.
Oh.
Yes.
In the beginning, it was simply to develop new weapons. America needed new weapons to counter the Soviet threat.
Right.
The reason, you ready? You holding on to your seat for this one? I don't think anybody knows this.
Yes.
Okay, everybody in the Pentagon better hold on to their seat for this. They're going to be popping mad. The people from a planet called Lanulo, thank you for that for me. They came here after World War II. They told the Soviets, better look out. Americans are coming after you. And they come to the Americans and tell them, better look out. The Soviets are coming after you. Then they go to the Soviets and tell them, here's the kind of missiles you're going to need. And then they go to the Americans and say, you better get ready. Here they come. Here are the kind of missiles you're going to need. We'll give you this advice on what to build with your own technology.
Sounds like they were promoting the idea of war.
Well, no, they knew the outcome. You can use primitive computer projections now to get some idea of something. And they use computer projections at that time to determine the best possible outcome. And that's a control situation where you have a standoff. They needed desperately to have a Cold War standoff for 40 years. That was the plan.
Why?
To duplicate the precise same event that happened 3 times
got a minute left. So quickly sum up or say whatever you would like to say to everybody out there about where you work.
Area 51, main purpose is to basically build weapons. It was taken over in 1986. It was taken over by the people from Honolulu. And when they took it over, that's what I seen in there. I was put in there to supervise what was going on in that lower level.
All right. Well, I have no way of knowing whether one word of what you have said is true, but you said it well.
Well, thank you very much.
You're welcome. And you take care. There's our first Area 51 call. The planet Lunos or whatever it was. What do you think? They're in charge since '86. Reagan said a bunch of stuff about that. You remember? We're going to break here at the bottom of the hour. We'll be right back from the high desert. This is Coast to Coast AM. I'm Art Bell.
If you've missed any part of tonight's program and you'd like to have a copy on tape, dial toll-free 1-800-917-4278. That number is 1-800-917-4278.
From the Kingdom of Nod, Coast to Coast AM continues with Art Bell.
All right. Well, I said no future employees of Area 51, but this guy tripped me up. He's on the line now, and I can tell you're like in a vehicle of some kind.
Yes, I'm driving the truck right now because I'm making a historical study of life in the 20th century. And there's really no better way to study it than getting out there and seeing it and experiencing it.
So you're sort of slumming in the 20th, huh?
There you go. Actually, I'm from the 21st century, or the 21st century, the year 2072. And I worked at Area 51, or I guess you would say I will work at Area 51, which at that time is the nation's capital. There's some serious catastrophes that will occur. I don't want to create a paradox by saying too much, but the events occur around the turn of the century in the eastern part of the country. Things happen where the government of the United States has to relocate.
Now, bear in mind that you're on the air right now in Washington, D.C. and WWRC. I mean, they're all listening to you, so
Yeah, that's why I have to be very careful.
please be very careful. Yes. So you're saying around the turn of the century, around 2000, something is going to happen.
Yeah, I don't want to get into any more of that, but I worked as an aide for the office of the president at Area 51. And in that time, in 2072, the reason Area 51 was picked to be the capital of the United States, and for that matter, basically a one-world government is set up with the United States leading that effort.
Oh, good.
There is, by that time, there will be no question of life throughout the universe. In fact, there'll be several races of aliens living with us. I can't get into much more detail than that. But
Let me ask you a question. Now, how far can you go? We all know what a paradox is, you know. Going back and killing your father, if time travel were possible, would suddenly negate you, at least in one timeline. How far can you go in telling us things without creating a paradox, something that will shift what otherwise would occur in a timeline?
well, I can't actually alter of that. For example, if I come back now and I know if I invest in a certain thing in the stock market, become a huge multi-millionaire.
Yes.
If that individual who I am now didn't, according to my current history,
You would have changed things radically.
right, and so I have to be very careful. Now, speaking in general
It wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah, I figure it would.
Now, is that something that could potentially? I mean, you must be on the gray line there regarding a paradox.
Well, I am, but here's the beauty of it. When I'm on the phone with you talking, it's subjective. It's people's opinion. So what I really say is real subjective. Some people might believe it, some people won't. So I'm fairly safe in making general statements like that because probably a lot of people aren't going to believe it anyway.
That's right. And so let me ask you this: is there something minor but very specific that you can give us that's going to happen in the near-term future that we can watch for and say, aha, the guy from 2072 called it?
Yeah, we're going to have probably about March of this coming winter,
Yes.
Southern California and Arizona are going to suffer severe flooding as a result of the El Nino that's building. And in 1999, the winter of 1999, there's going to be a major devastating earthquake in Southern California.
Wait a minute, that was the winter of '99?
The winter of 1999.
How big will it be? You know?
From the history books I've read, it was about an 8.9 on the Richter scale. But I'm not, I can't give out numbers because we really don't know. There was just estimate numbers of deaths and injuries.
Did you get here using a physical time machine, or did you come through some sort of wormhole? In other words, by what means did you come to this time and why?
Okay, there are things around the planet that people now are calling vortexes or vortices,
Right.
such as in Sedona, a few places in California. By the year 2055, there's been a major breakthrough explaining these forces, and mankind has learned how to use them for time travel, both going forward and going past.
Well, now that is very interesting because I interviewed a very well-respected physicist named Michio Kaku not long ago who said that is exactly the way we would learn to travel in time.
Yes, and it works out very well. And you don't have to have the equipment at your destination. Now, when I left in 2072, there's equipment set up at these vortices in Sedona and other places around the world. Now, when I go through that and come to this time, I just pop out in the middle of the desert in the case of Sedona.
I've always wondered about that. How are you able to be sure that you don't pop here inside a mountain or a building or concrete or something awful like that?
Well, because we can go back to maps of the 20th century, actually even earlier than that. We've got them archived on computer disks. That we know exactly where we can and cannot pop out.
So at least I know we still use computers, huh?
We do use computers, so it'll blow your mind the media that we'll be using at that time.
No, it wouldn't blow my mind at all. You buy a computer today and it's out of date now in about 3 or 4
All we can
months.
say is virtual reality is only the beginning.
So it's going to be an interesting time. There's going to be a gigantic event around the turn of the century. It's a serious event.
Yeah, the turn of the century is going to be rough, but mankind makes it through it. We do have some assistance from, how shall I say, elsewhere.
Elsewhere, others.
Yeah, and after that event, things like racism, those kind of issues will no longer be around because not only will we have to learn to live with people of different color, we're going to have to learn to live with beings who are not human. And this event, these series of events that occur around the turn of the century, is kind of a purging or a cleansing event. And people that make it through that become a better species of people.
Are you going to stay and go through this period with us, or when things get rough, are you going to get going?
I got to be honest with you, Art. I'm out of here. I'm going to be a chicken and run. I'm not going to stay and go through that with you.
Would it be possible for somebody like myself, for example, who wants to avoid what's coming, to get a ticket to ride, so to speak, with you?
No, because there again, then you come up with a paradox issue.
Paradox.
You have
ask this.
Okay?
Do you know offhand whether I make it?
I can't answer that because that might alter
Paradox.
the way you live your life.
I got it. All right. Well, you've been very, very interesting caller, and I hope you will call again.
I will do so.
All right. Thank you very much. Take care. There is a future Area 51 employer, present employee, present time traveler. All right. Sounds pretty good. I've got to give him a good 7 or 8, maybe even better than an 8 on a scale of 10. East of the Rockies, you're on the air. Good morning. Hello there.
Yes, hello.
Turn your radio off, please. It's the first thing you got to do when you get on the air. All right, good. Where are you?
Boynton Beach, Florida.
Okay. Glad to have you.
Sorry?
It is.
Oh, I'm sorry. No, I was just listening. I'm just on my computer and I'm listening to your show right now. It's through the computer.
Okay.
And you guys are talking about Area 51. I grew up in Morocco. I don't know if you ever heard of Morocco, North Africa. And I spent 16 years over there with my parents.
I'm going to North Africa next month.
Egypt.
Yeah.
Right, I saw that on your webpage. But anyway, there's a place called Kenitra, which was a United States U.S. Navy base. And at the time, from 1961 until 1970, it was a United States Navy base. But after that, because Congress discovered that this base was there, they decided to shut it down. And the United States government never did. They kept it going, and basically what they did, they just turned it over to the Royal Air Force. But the base in Kenitra had a bunch of satellite dishes, and I'm talking like, if you saw the movie Contact,
I did. God, I love that movie.
you're talking about dishes that were lined up probably, I would probably say about 30 dishes next to Morocco, Kenitra.
Well, when you do that, what you saw in Contact was accurate. In other words, you can put up a field of dishes, and each one gives you about a 3 dB gain and it creates an error of beam width. So you can listen to more distant, weaker signals. That's how it works, and Contact was accurate in that regard.
Okay, and not only was there 30 dishes in Kenitra, there's another town which is like a little village, and it was probably about 60 miles away from Kenitra. Kenitra is north of Rabat, Morocco. It's called City Yahya, and they had another 30 dishes there. Now, why would the United States government or the United States Navy have all these dishes? They did at one point. My father was telling me back in 1970 during the Apollo missions that these dishes relayed the Apollo missions.
All right, well, that would be definitely one use.
That's one use, but what's the other use? These
Listening,
dishes in Morocco.
listening for whatever might be out there, just as they did in Contact. And as SETI now does. You remember in Contact they were using the one at Arecibo.
Right, I remember that. But the base right now, it's actually still in operation under the Moroccan government. But there are Americans there.
Okay, so what is it you're telling us? That our American government is still in Morocco doing something that relates to deep space?
Deep space. And the father's retired now. But he's told me this, and I do know that because I was talking to, I don't know if you remember at the time, it was Alexander Haig. He was the Supreme Commander of NATO back in 1981, if I'm correct.
That's I'm in charge now at the White House, Alexander Haig, right?
Yes, that's the guy.
Yeah.
And he was talking about, because they had closed the base back in 1978, he was talking to my father, asking him to go back to Kenitra and see if we, whatever, I really am not sure, and I guess I'm not privy to that conversation, but it was very interesting, and I was thinking of Area 51 being something so secretive, and Congress did not know about the base, and it's still run by the American military in
Well, you're
North
raising
Africa, Morocco.
You're raising a very good point. Thank you very much for the call. In other words, it may well be that Area 51, the one adjacent to me, just over the mountain from me, is not the only place that we're doing this sort of thing. And North Africa would be a really spiffy place when you think about it, to do something very secret. Because there are large open areas that can be closed off easily. And there wouldn't be a whole lot of tourist travel in those areas. Very interesting point that our government may have secret things going on around the world, not just here. Fascinating. Welcome to the Rockies. You're on the air. Hello.
Hello?
Yes, hi.
Hi.
Where are you?
This is Boris, and I'm in Las Vegas.
In Las Vegas.
Yeah.
Just over the hill.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. I'm a first-time caller. I finally got through.
Sound like you're out of breath.
Yeah. Yes, I figured out how to get through. My clues was Mr. Fidget gave me.
Well, all right. You're through. So what's on your mind?
Oh, well, actually, I guess I guess the more Pathfinder picture.
Indeed, Pathfinder has just, I guess, or is just now going into orbit around Mars.
That's the global observer. Yeah.
Mars Observer.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm sorry, you're talking about Pathfinder, the little bug that runs around up there.
yeah.
Yeah. Okay, what is it you have to say about it?
Well, yeah, I've been doing some of my own investigation by basically downloading the whole Mars Pathfinder site.
Well, as you know, Richard Hoagland has seen everything from gyroscopes to bazookas to 105mm cannons to all kinds of things on Mars.
Yeah.
What have you seen?
Well, I've definitely seen a lot of criminal shaped things, and looking at the pictures Richard Hoagland has put on his website, I found some other similar pictures to that.
So you're essentially backing up what Richard says.
Yeah, and
He thinks we've landed right in the middle of a debris field, essentially, of previous civilization.
yeah.
You think that's right?
Yeah, it looks like it.
You know, there are a lot of people who think that we are Martians. That the Martians, don't laugh, when the Martian, that on Mars, when their atmosphere was destroyed, or potentially was about to be destroyed, and there was once one there with water on Mars, and water means life, that somehow somebody or something got off planet and, in effect, seeded Earth.
Yeah, well, I sort of believe in multiple timelines, and
You too, huh?
Did
you hear my time caller a minute ago?
Yes, I heard you try to call.
And on a scale of 10, what did you think of his credibility?
Somehow this comes into my mind. I
Six.
don't know why.
Only a 6. I thought he was pretty good. I've had worse, believe me.
Yeah. I don't know.
All right, well, listen, thank you very much for the call from Las Vegas. Not a lot of time before the top of the hour. East of the Rockies, you're on the air. Hello? No, you're not. That person just missed it. Long card line, you're on the air. Hi.
CT in San Mateo, California.
Yes, sir.
And I think it's preposterous for that time traveler to presume that Earthlings would be able to get along with people from other planets.
When they can't even get along with different racial groups and ethnic and religious groups on planet Earth now.
Absolutely.
Yeah, but you forgot one important thing. He said there was going to be some event that would so change human beings that they would suddenly be able to get along with others. I can't imagine what that would be.
Can't imagine the enormity of an event like that. And I'm from the school.
Nobody cooperated when Rodney King asked if we all get along. So
I'm from the school that believes that the races that we have here on this planet are from other planets, and we don't get along. So that's my assumption for tonight.
no, well, wait. Where are you coming from, by the way?
And Mateo.
I'm looking at everything you said that. I always thought that if a saucer came down, little green guys got off and started down the ring. Before they got to the bottom of the ring, they would be so full of lead they wouldn't be able to walk.
I can't see why they would want to come here. I mean, people would think.
In other words, you would look down at the present relationship between the races and so forth on Earth and say,
I try.
let's skip this one, folks. On planet that is green?
Hey, thanks,
All right, take care. That's it. We're going to break here at the top of the hour. See what's new in the world. I suspect not very much. There's not much new under the sun these days, is there? And we will continue. Don't forget, my first-time caller line is not that tonight. It is an Area 51 employee sing-song line at 702-727-1222. This is Coast to Coast AM.
Stay tuned for more of the best of Art Bell. Presentation of Coast to Coast AM with Art Bell. Remember, although you cannot call in right now, you can send a fax. The number is area code 702-727-8499. That's area code 702-727-8499. If you want to mail Art a letter, his address is P.O. Box 3755, Pahrump, Nevada, PAHRUMP. Zip code 89041-4755. If you're interested in purchasing a tape of one of Art's past interviews or subscribing to his After Dark newsletter, the toll-free order line is 1-800-917-4278. That's 1-800-917-4278. And now, enjoy this encore presentation of Coast to Coast AM with Art Bell.
This is Coast to Coast AM with Art Bell.
It is, and I'm glad to be here. If you missed the first hour, Daniel Brinkley called from his hospital bed. We talked to him for an hour, full hour, and he is doing better all the time. A little groggy, but as you might expect of his conditions, but he's doing better. All things going well. He may be out of the hospital in another week, so we did that in the first hour. Second hour, we began taking Area 51 calls. I didn't do it last night, so I'm doing it tonight. If you're an Area 51 employee, past or present, we even have one in the future, you're welcome to call our special line, which is area code 702-727-1222. And another person I would love to hear from briefly is Stan Dale in Perth, Australia. Stan, if you're listening this morning in Australia, call me and let's get an update on this El Nino business. There's so much on it now, and it appears to be ever increasing. So I'd like to get your look at the latest map, or have you tell us about the latest map and what you're seeing. Stan, as you know, told us this was coming many months before the climatologist decided it was coming. So he's a good guy to listen to in that respect. Incidentally, I've got a mysterious visitor in my studio. And if anybody out there can guess who it is before the show ends, you'll win some sort of cheap prize. Now, how are you going to guess? Well, you can actually see him on the studio cam. We've got a studio cam. And every now and then he clicks a picture and sends it to the web. So, you might get a look. If you do, try and guess who it is. A mysterious, I rarely have visitors ever in the studio. So if you can guess who it is, well, you probably don't win anything except my eternal respect for having guessed the impossible. East of the Rockies, you're on the air. Good morning.
Hi, Art.
Hello.
Get through.
Glad you got through. Where are you?
I'm in Ohio, Yellow Springs, Ohio.
Okay.
First of all, I was shocked that he let the first Area 51 got get away, but he said,
Oh, look, I couldn't. I talked to the guy for almost half an hour.
right?
Yeah.
Sure. Well, he said something about loading up and that Reagan had mentioned this.
Yeah, 86 would have been. No, I said that. Do you remember Ronald Reagan when he was in office? Several times he said, if we had some sort of common enemy from space, for
Yeah.
example, that we as a planet would get together to fight
I do remember.
this common enemy. He said that a number of times, and it was about 1986.
But he didn't mention Williams who.
No.
Okay. Okay, and the other thing, the 2072 caller,
Yeah.
he said, just before he signed up, that certain people would be allowed to leave.
Yeah, but apparently I'm not one of them.
Well, yeah, I know, but it'd be interesting to know who they are. Maybe they're 340,000.
Well, I'll ask him next time.
Okay.
All right?
Thanks, Bert.
Right, thank you very much for the call. Take care. Look, dare we go back on my Area 51 line? You're on the air. Hello.
Yes, some less incredible people talked to you earlier.
I've got some what?
Less incredible people talked to you earlier.
Are you one of them?
No, I'll tell you what,
You are not an Area 51 employee?
here's how you find out. Ask them how they pay for their meals. Ask them what color the second door is they go in, and ask them how they get there.
You are an Area 51 employee.
No, that remains to be seen. Just ask them those 3 questions. They're rather unique.
All right, roll over those again. How they pay for the meals is one, right? The color of the second door? The trouble is that I'm not going to know. I mean, how am I going to know?
I'll tell you off the air if you like.
Well, I can't do it off here.
Okay.
All right, what was the third thing? It was the color of the first and second door?
Color the second door.
Second door. And what else?
How they pay for their meals.
Yeah, I got those two. What else?
How they get there.
Oh, how they get there? Oh, I know one way they get there. They get there by bus. Some fly. Right.
Also ask them what they do with the trash.
They probably drop it down a big hole where it enters our water table and we drink it. You are an Area 51 employee, aren't you? Come on, own up to it.
I'll try to keep it. Have a good evening.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, he was a real boy, you can tell. Well, all right, future Area 51 employees, I now have 3 critical questions to which I don't have the real answer, so you can lie your tail ends off at me and I wouldn't know. Houston Rockies, you're on the air. Hello. Hello. Yes, turn your radio off, please. Okay, you're actually on the air. Where are you calling from? Des Moines, Iowa. All right. The nation's heartland.
There you go, right in the middle of it.
So what do you think of these guys so far?
Pretty far out. I have some questions regarding a previous show.
All right, which one?
It was the one about us never going to the moon.
Oh, yes.
Uh-huh.
The debate. The great debate.
What was on it?
Who do you suppose you're talking?
Sorry.
I'm the only one. Well, actually, I do have someone else here, but I'm normally the only one here.
Okay.
So I'm the only one you could talk to. The debate between Collier and Hoagland.
Collier. Who's the one that was, no, I thought his name was James, and the other guy said he was
James Collier and
Okay.
Richard Hoagland.
Hoagland.
Yes, Hoagland.
Okay,
Hoagland.
well, Hoagland was the man that was supposedly his co-announcer as we landed on the moon, is that correct?
He worked for Walter Cronkite, that's right.
And he was, yeah, right, he was the co-announcer, is that correct?
No, he was a science advisor to Walter Cronkite.
Oh, okay.
But he was right there.
Well, let me tell you what happened to me. I was living in Southern California about the time we landed on the moon there. And I was watching it pretty closely, and I come home from work one day, and I was watching TV. I thought we'd already landed because of the mock-up that they had.
How do you know the whole thing wasn't done in Burbank, right there by you?
Well, to tell you the truth, I believe it was.
I see. All right, go ahead.
I'll tell you what happened. So they get around to the guy, to the module going down the moon, the man getting out, one small step for man, all that garbage, right?
Yep. It wasn't garbage.
Well, it is in my opinion because the camera came down. The camera started to pan to the left, and all of a sudden there's this rock laying there.
Yeah.
And I didn't listen to the whole program. I didn't hear if this was mentioned or not.
What's the matter with it being a rock on the moon?
Okay, well on this rock was a precisely carved Roman numeral.
Now that I missed.
Okay, now I don't know if that was on the program or not, but I was flabbergasted.
Well, of course I would be too. Did you save that videotape?
Did I say that videotape?
Yep.
1960s.
That's true. That's true. Yeah.
I don't think VCRs were out then.
No, you're
I didn't have one.
Right, I understand.
So the two announcers are talking, right? And the other announcer says,
Look at that Roman numeral.
look, no, he says, look, it's that rock. And then the screen went black. Went off the air.
Well, all right, here's something for you to contemplate. Let's just say, for the sake of argument, the whole thing was done on a sound stage, all right, a video stage. Why would they put something stupid like a rock with a Roman numeral on it if they were trying to fake the whole thing?
Exactly.
What do you mean exactly?
Why would they? They wouldn't.
But you're saying they did.
But I'm saying it was there. I know what I've seen, okay? You know, I'm watching the guy get down out of the landing craft, one small step for man, it pans over, there's a rock with a Roman numeral on it.
And one giant conspiracy for mankind, right?
And one giant conspiracy for mankind. But the number on the rock, it was just a flash, you know? And I think it was either a 13 or a 17. Can't remember what. I don't know if there's any significance to that.
I don't either.
But this has bugged me, ever since it happened.
All right, well, next time I get Richard Hoagland on, I will ask him specifically about that, all right?
Okay?
All right.
Got another one for you real quick.
Real quick, because we're about out of time.
Okay, the Men in Black.
Yes.
When I was in service in '68, I was stationed at Fort Lee, Maryland. It's got a very large forest area in it.
Yeah.
And one Sunday morning, a guy came up with a new car. I had a little Austin Helix ride. He grabbed me and a partner. We're going to go out. We're going to take a ride in it. And I set up on the back, looking out over the windshield. We took a ride down here in the forest. We went for quite a ways.
Got it ready.
I asked him if he told me, well, we better turn around and go back. And on the left, and started to go down this road and come into the clearing. And what we ran into was, there was, right in the middle of this clearing, was a triangular shaped kind of a glass-looking object, kind of a laser shooting up just above the tree line. And I was sitting on the back, and I could see it all. And this guy came down and clearing me a U-turn real quick, kind of to a fishtail.
This would be our MIB, I presume.
And no, the guy that I was riding, as we made the fishtail, we could see three people kind of along the perimeter there. I was reaching into the sides of their coat pocket, like reaching for a gun and stuff.
Yeah.
And never really dawned on me until recently that I heard this man in black, and all those guys weren't black. And that was the weirdest light I've ever seen in my life. This is like in 1968.
Oh, you're lucky to be alive to tell the story.
Probably. But I was really, what's really got me is I just wonder if you got any listeners anywhere that's ever seen that rock or seen anything or heard anything about it, because that's blowing my mind just listening.
You know all those lumpy things you see out in the desert?
Yeah.
People like you. I gotta go, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for the call. By the way, I want to make an announcement. I've got a big announcement I forgot to make. Tomorrow night's schedule is probably the real thing. James Von Prague. I talked to Damien extensively about James Von Prague, and I know a lot of you have been waiting for him. He'll be here tomorrow night at the beginning of the show. And now I've got a really big announcement. Next week, on Friday night, Saturday morning, the 19th, this is when you've been waiting for. Gordon Michael Stallion is going to be here. And I'm going to read you, let me see how much can I read you of what he sent me. A little bit anyway. All right, I'll read you a little bit of what Gordon has essentially been underground for a year. And there's a reason for that. It's basically his health. He'll be here in the first hour. And we'll see how long he can stand. But boy, does he have news for you. Dear Art, Gordon writes, you will find a copy of my new book, Notes from the Cosmos, a futurist insight into the world of dream prophecy and intuition. I think you'll find the chapter on the awakening to be the most interesting, and a subject that both you and I have discussed with regard to similarities in our viewpoints. I've appreciated your ongoing support of my work and your desire to have me appear on your show. Again, during the past year, I've been trying to restore my vitality and complete my book prior to the great changes that I see on the doorstep here in just a few months. I now feel I have something of value to share with your listeners, dealing with the activities might say that the current weather changes are indeed that, I see these as only precursors to a shift in the magnetic field of the Earth as well as disruption of the tectonic plate system. Gordon Michael Stallion, the 19th or 20th, depending on your time zone. I know a lot of you have been waiting for that, so I just booked him yesterday. Listen to Rockies, you're on the air. Hello. Hello, turn off thy radio, please. Good. Where are you? Alaska, where?
Well, I'm in Palmer.
Palmer. All right. Well, you know, I was just in Anchorage.
Yeah, I know you were. Were you born before 1953?
I was born June 17th, 1945 on Camp Lejeune in North Carolina.
Okay. The reason I ask is I grew up in Colorado. My father worked for a packaging corporation that took recycled paper and made boxes.
Way back then.
Way back then.
I didn't know we recycled that one.
We recycled years and years ago. People don't realize we recycle. Anyway, do you know what ENT is?
That would be ENT?
Yes.
No.
ENT is a military base buried in the mountains in Colorado. It's a nuclear safe, one of those that was way deep in the ground.
Yes.
I'm not sure, probably,
A hardened site.
yes. In 1960, early 60s, maybe 61, 62, I was a young boy, probably 10 years old, and my dad came home from work with a book on flying saucers. It had brought a bunch of paper to be destroyed because they didn't want it out in the public's hands.
And your dad brought it home.
And my dad brought one home,
You're not supposed to do that, you know.
and I thumbed through this thing for months, fascinated at the hundreds and hundreds of official spaceship
Boy, what have you done with all of this documentation?
I don't know what happened to the book. I'm sure that my brother looked through it. I don't know what my dad did with the book. And your show has just brought this book back to
Boy, I sure would like to lay my hands on it.
I'm telling you, it would be an amazing piece of paper. And I don't know that, if anybody else has.
Is your dad still alive?
My dad's still alive.
Why don't you go to him?
And ask him.
You're doggone right.
Yeah.
And if he still has that book, you and I need to talk privately. You think you could arrange that?
I will call him and ask him.
All right, if you can lay your hands on it, you either fax me or write me or email me or get to me somehow privately, and we'll set something up, all right?
Okay.
All right, thank you, my friend. You take care. Ooh, but I'd like to lay my hands on that. Would that be neat? We're going to take a break here at the bottom of the hour. Once again, come back and do I have no idea what. Don't touch that dial.
The devil went down to Georgia. He was looking for a soul to steal. He was in a bind, way behind, wouldn't make a deal. When he came across this young man sawing him a fiddle and playing it hot, and the devil jumped up on Peter's nose. Boy, let me tell you what. I guess you didn't know it, but I'm a fiddle player too. And if you care to take a dare, I'll make a bet with you. Now you play pretty good fiddle, boy. Give the devil his due. I bet a fiddle of gold against your soul. I'm better than you. My name's Johnny, and it might be a sin, but I'll take your bet. You're gonna regret 'cause I'm the best that's ever been. Johnny, here I'm up here to bowl and play a fiddle hard.
If you've missed any part of tonight's program and you'd like to have a copy on tape, dial toll-free 1-800-917-4278. That number is 1-800-917-4278. And now back to the best of Art Bell.
Remember now, I am set aside only for Area 51 employees. And by the way, I don't know about the earlier ones. They're pretty good, but this last guy, I'll bet you he was the real thing. That's just my own call. At any rate, if you're an Area 51 employee, past or present, and wish to sing, tell us what it's all about. This area just over the hill from me. I've got one line set aside for only that area code 702-727-1222. East of the Rockies, you're on the air. Good morning.
Well, good morning to you.
Where are you? Oklahoma, huh? All right.
Something for your consideration.
Okay.
The parents have shared with us listeners, not over the air, some really big catastrophe kids have place, something not place.
Yes.
The kid, just small heart, I can pass the mic as well.
I absolutely would. As a matter of fact, I should tell you that I now have the microphone to do that. I've got a permanent outside microphone that I'm about to mount. It was sent to me by some very nice listener, very professional outfit. But yes, in other words, if an asteroid was coming in or something, sure, what the hell? I can go outside, take the microphone, and talk that sucker in. Why not?
Well, here's something we consider. Next, associate boom, are called fast.
Which means,
Fast, not fast.
okay, so far that's not catastrophic.
No. They have to do that. We just want to
Oh, you suggested that I would go out. Oh, how impressive. Those Saturn. I mean, you've got a good telescope to see that.
No. You can see it through the option. It doesn't, now, when a cold storm, like winds out, I mean, it's
Yeah, I'm not sure that's dramatic enough to justify going outside.
Take a look at it anyway.
Might be good practice. Now, if we had a big rock, say about 6 miles wide, bearing down on us, now you're talking good reason for a remote Endo the world broadcast. As it's, all right, well, I'll mull that over in my mind. Thank you. First time caller line, you're on the air. Hello.
Hello, Art.
Hi.
I'm calling from Southern California,
Yes, sir.
and I'm happy to hear that Danny's doing better.
Well, tentatively better. Yes.
That's good to hear. We haven't heard so much tonight about the people that are trying to uncover the truth about the UFO scenario, and I was wondering if it would be possible for you to get somebody from the other side. Somebody maybe
Somebody who wants to keep it secret.
Exactly.
Well, I tried that. I did a Men in Black night. You know, I mean, they would be in that category, right?
I didn't hear the whole show. Did anybody call in on that?
Oh, yeah. It's Men in Black. And you know what I've got in front of me here?
No.
I've got a story. Now, I have no way of knowing if it's true. It comes from the News Gateway, a News Gateway article. Breaking news, it says, this just in. A reporter friend who works for a local newspaper just called and told me that 2 men in black have been captured after breaking and entering the house of a local ufologist tonight. Apparently, a neighbor saw the men approach the house and called police. Police arrived quickly. The 2 men were still inside. Needless to say, the police captured them and arrested them. When the ufologist returned home and was told the story, he of course immediately realized it was a case of MIBs, attempting to find out what he knows. And of course he called the local police and explained all this and tried to encourage them to investigate these 2 men fully. But immediately the conspiracy went into full alert and began to create a cover story. You know how that works. And they did background checks and found both men, it turns out, are experienced jewel thieves, and both have police records. They were trying to get the jewels from the house of the well-to-do ufologist and his wife. But the ufologist was not to be fooled. And how shrewd they can be explained to police is the obvious cover story. And these were MIBs, and this was possibly one of the biggest breaks in UFO history. But, as you might imagine, even though the 2 MIBs are still in the slammer, the cover story is working.
Interesting.
Who would you suggest I would have on?
Well, obviously, the person that we most want to talk to would not come forward with a name. So it seemed like it would have to be somebody that wanted to speak anonymously.
guy who claimed that he was inside Area 51, a worker in Area 51, and he sent me several messages over a period of about 3 days, and then stopped. And I'm waiting to hear from him. I don't know why he stopped. We did post his letter on the internet. Now that might have scared him off. I didn't know that was going to be posted. Apparently he sent, or somebody sent a copy of that letter to Keith. It certainly was not me. And Keith posted it. Now maybe that scared him off. I don't know. But he has now disappeared. Hopefully he didn't come to any harm. But we will have that man on the air if he ever gets in touch with me for real. West of the Rockies, you're on the air. Hi.
Hi, my name's Richard from Flagstaff.
Yes, sir.
Hey, congratulations on your book seller thing.
Oh, I'm kind of proud of that.
Yeah, I'm sure. I just wanted to call because I'm a dream traveler. I've been one for a few years, and I had this dream a couple years ago that listening to the Richard C. Hope and you talking kind of tripped me out.
That'll do it, all right.
Yeah.
Was it a regular dream or a nightmare?
No, it's actually really, really cool. It's some dreams, you know, are just they aren't all that powerful, but this one it wasn't lucid, but it felt like I was out of my body. And
I've had several out-of-body experiences myself listening to Richard.
yeah, definitely. Yeah, listening to you guys is always really nice.
I've actually felt myself float to the ceiling and look down. And it was one of those frustrating moments with Richard when you're trying to ask a second level question and he's not giving you a second level answer. Probably first level answer.
It keeps going and going and going. Well, my dream started, I was in my bed and I got pulled out of my body by aliens actually, and they kind of looked like E.T., which is kind of weird. They were short and had long necks and a kind of E.T.-shaped head. And this is the weird part. They took me to this planet that they said was where the asteroid belt is now, on Mars.
Xenon.
Yeah, they said that they took me there and they took me back to the past. And there were all these cities all over the place, and they were showing me. It was really overwhelming because they gave me like all this history and stuff. And of course, I don't remember any of that, but because it was just like information overload. But
Right.
they gave me all this information and showed me their history and all this stuff, and they told me that there was life on Mars and on this planet, and that there was a war between these two planets, and they developed this technology and all this stuff. And I guess the people on Mars were really, really aggressive, and the only reason that the people on this other planet had to develop any weapons at all was to defend themselves against these people on Mars. And well, the people on Mars developed something that could actually blow up the planet. And
Boy, you do have dreams, don't
yeah,
you?
I guess so. And it escalated, and kaboom, planet gone. And I'm not exactly sure what happened to Mars, but obviously something bad. And the people some people got away and from both planets and supposedly came here. And they didn't really tell me what happened then. But then I was just kind of sitting there on the planet going, well, okay, how do I get back to my place? I was kind of in the past.
That's the part that I have always worried about, getting back.
Yeah, I was a little worried. And
Not only were you in another place, but you were in another time.
another time,
And Albert Taylor the other day warned about that.
yeah,
He said, that's hard.
exactly. And I was a little worried. And they said, well, don't worry. They told me to look at these 3 stars and to stare at them and to focus all my energy on them. And of course, I don't remember what stars they are. But I did that, and after a few minutes,
Knowing about clicking your heels 3 times.
yeah, the 3 stars. But
Anyway, you got home.
yeah, well, what happened was when I focused on these 3 stars, this kind of gateway opened, and it was like kind of like a wormhole.
Kind of like it, just like in combat.
Yeah, very much so.
And back you came. All right, listen, I gotta run. We're out of time.
Okay.
All right, thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you.
That's a hell of a dream. We'll be right back.
Georgia, he's looking for a soul
before it was going to go.
Accurate.
Well, with my luck, the phone would ring or something. Divert my attention. Goodbye, Jerome. So, what was that you were saying about morons now? Other uses?
The only possibility thing, other than terrorism, is to advance your terrorist aims, whether that may be by actually taking what's in the car to make more.
Oh, I see. To replicate it. Yes, I suppose there would be that. But I would think that would be a nervous thing, too. Cutting wires, disassembling a nuclear device.
There's a lot of small countries who really don't have a nuclear program.
So you got, well, there's a profit motive now. You could turn around and resell it to some small country somewhere. Peru, for example, they'd probably like to have a nuke. Castro. Now think what Castro would pay for a nuke. Trouble is, we all know who he'd use it against. I don't know, I'm trying to give it some thought. There's got to be a use. There's 100 of them. It's reported out there. And we'll take this up. I appreciate your call, sir. On my Area 51 line, you're on the air. Hello.
Hello, Art.
Yes.
Hi. I don't have a whole lot of time.
Well, look, let's begin by finding out whether you're using this line properly or not.
Area 51.
Yes. Were you an employee or are you now?
I'm a former employee.
Former employee.
I was let go on a medical discharge about a week ago, and I've kind of been running across the country. Man, I don't know where to start. They're gonna they'll triangulate on this position really soon.
So you can't spend a lot of time on the phone. So give us something quick.
Okay, what we're thinking of as aliens are they're extra-dimensional beings that an earlier precursor of the space program made contact with. They are not what they claim to be. They've infiltrated a lot of aspects of the military establishment, particularly the Area 51. The disasters that are coming, the military, the government knows about them, and there's a lot of safe areas in this world that they could begin moving the population to now.
So they're not doing anything.
They are not. They want those major population centers wiped out, so that the few that are left will be more easily controllable.
Discharge.
I think
Well, this was certainly interesting. We are now on a backup system, everybody. A backup system. And, that one caller that I had on the air, I guess we were about in the middle of his transmission, his telephone call, which was one of the strangest ones I've ever had. And the entire transmitting system by satellite went down here, and we were notified we were off the air. And it would appear to be from this end and some sort of massive transmit failure. So we are now using a backup system to be on the air. And not that I would normally believe this kind of thing, mind you, but I can't help but wonder if somebody zapped us in some way. We'll find out. East of the Rockies, you're on the air. Hello.
Arbel,
Yes.
what just happened there with the transmission?
Oh, well, what happened is the transmitter here blew its cookies in some way. Something knocked us off the air, and we're on a backup system now.
Is it government or
me because you were listening.
That was awful strange.
There was a really weird guy on the air when it went off.
Yeah. Real weird,
Like going sort of sounding paranoid,
Yeah.
schizophrenic.
like crying and everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And how far into the conversation was it when it went off?
Just a couple, about 15, 20 seconds, I'd say.
Oh, you guys you really missed the call then, and I've got a feeling somebody didn't want you to hear it.
Yeah. Because it was really strange. All of a sudden, I'm hearing Mark Furman.
That's right. Well, the network, of course, went immediately to a backup tape while we tried to figure out what blew up here. So that's what you heard happen. And then we're now on a backup link system to be on the air at all right now. So, well, I'm telling you,
Am I on the air right now?
you're on the air right now. Well, you better be, yes.
And
Where are you, by the way?
I'm in Michigan.
Michigan.
Yeah, I called the other night, and I wanted to ask two things.
Real quick.
Well, I wanted to say one thing, and I wanted to ask another.
Real quick.
I wanted to ask if you could play the remote viewing one when you were in, while you go to Egypt.
Yes.
And also, I wanted to know all the stuff about, like, Area 51, if it's, like, the government's trying to put it out there like that, so, like, some other places it's being watched as much.
In other words, it's a big decoy. I see what you're saying. All right, thank you very much. Apparently, we are back on the air, and apparently we'll be back after the news, I think.
Stay tuned for more of the absolute best of Art Bell right after a word from the local sponsors.
From the Kingdom of Nine, Coast to Coast AM continues with Art Bell.
Well, let me tell you what a very, very interesting turn of events. Right in the middle of a very, very strange, one of the strangest calls I've ever had. We apparently lost all transmit capability on this end here in Nevada. The transmitter went belly up suddenly for some unknown reason. I've never seen it do this in all the years that we've been on the air. I've never seen the transmitter in this way just simply fail, a massive fail, like a massive heart attack of some kind. And so we've gone to a backup system to get signal to you right now, and I presume it is getting to you right now. Totally bizarre, folks. Totally bizarre. So I presume that you got to hear whatever they grabbed quickly, which I believe in this case was a bit of the Mark Furman interview. Must have seemed a bit out of context, I would say. Good interview, but you have to hear it in context. All right, well, we will continue on with the backup system and go to work on the primary system. This is why we have backup systems. Tell you, live radio is weird stuff, folks. Anything can happen, and this is another perfect example of that. On the run, trying to get things done. In a 5-hour program, anything can occur, and we've had, my transmitter has had an apparent massive heart attack. Or something happened to it, or somebody did something to it. And I will not mention the alternative means we're doing to get, accomplishing to get a signal up there right now, or to the network, let me put it that way, but pretty weird, and it certainly occurred at a pretty weird time. What's the Rockies? You're on the air, hi.
Hi,
Yes. Turn your radio down, please. Turn it off. There you go.
thank you.
Where are you?
This is Barbara in Kingman, Arizona.
Hi, Barbara.
My husband and I have a question about that interruption we had, and also about Dennis.
Yes.
And
All right, the interruption first. What do you want to know?
okay, was that person flipped out or?
Sounded flipped out to me.
Yeah.
But did it have anything? Did it have anything to do with our failure? It was I must admit, of all the times that it would go out, that was a pretty weird time.
Yes, this is Mark Furman.
Yes.
And our phone went dead.
Your phones went dead
Yes.
at that same
hearing the man talking, and he's talking like he was almost in tears.
Yeah.
And then I heard it like a static interruption, and then he went off the air. Which was like, yeah, and then the phone was dead.
Too weird for me. Too weird for me. And you're telling me that your phone went dead at the same time.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, and my wife and I, we have big rock hunters, I guess you could say, looking for gold and rock and things like that. And we have been up near the Area 51. And when we got, we had passed over the Area 51 area where it says no trespassing at this point.
You're not supposed to go past that.
Well, we did.
And you probably met Blackenhut.
Well, we met these people,
Blackenhut Security is there. And I think the people that still take care of security up there, they're really efficient at what they do.
well, yeah, the ordinance of the property,
I'm even wondering how much more I should be talking about this tonight.
and they escorted us off the property with automatic,
Automatic weapons.
right.
Yeah, well, that's what it's done. All right, sir, thank you very much for the call. Dare I answer the line on my Area 51 line? You're on the air. Hello. How are you? Okay, are you an Area 51 employee? In the past. Years ago. Can you talk? Tell us what you can tell us. In other words, instead of my asking you questions, just tell us whatever you feel you can say without having something awful happen to you.
I've got myself very covered right now. About your interruption, the last caller,
Yes.
I don't think you're gonna hear what you can hear.
I got that distinct impression. Now, you guys didn't hear the whole call because here's what was going on. Halfway through that call, or somewhere through that call, I have no way of knowing. We apparently went off the air. The transmitter blew up, or whatever happened.
Any bit
And,
close.
my hotline was ringing, so I don't know when, at what point during that call we actually lost it. I don't know.
Lost it. He was just starting to like cry,
Yeah.
and the whole thing just went dead. This reason.
And then how long was it before you got to hear audio again?
About 2 minutes.
2 minutes. Yeah, that's how it's alarms went off everywhere, all across the country. Okay, anyway, listen, why do you think we'll never hear from him again?
Because he was on the phone too long. And he's
Yeah,
right.
you know, if you heard the end of the call, I'll tell you, I'll tell everybody right now. The end of the call, it got worse and worse. He was crying, and he screamed. He screamed, and the line went dead. And at that point, I think I went to another call, and I answered the hotline and found out we'd been blown off the air somehow. I've got a guest in the studio right now. He's confirming. He's shaking his head. Everything I'm telling him, no, he is exactly true. This guy screamed, and the line went dead. I wish you could have heard the end of it.
I can imagine him. Very easily. I used to work security problems, just like you do.
Oh, you did?
Yeah. I was one of the men they called to close gaps.
Excuse me, closed caps.
Gaps.
Gaps. Leaks. I am going to ask you a of the Rockies, you're on the air. Hello.
Yeah, this is Vince from Chicago.
Hi, Vince.
Oh, that caller that we had the blackout there. We heard about 2 minutes of it in Chicago, and it sounded pretty scary. It sounded like that guy was a little scared. And I know
A
he
little scared? You should have heard the end of the call. I mean, I got to complete the call here. I really should say that. He screamed at the end, and the line went dead. And then everything went dead. Well, actually, it went dead before that. I just didn't know.
Yeah, we heard about 2 minutes of it, and it was, there was some clicks in and out somewhere in the transmission, like it was going dead a little bit. And it was dead over here in Chicago for almost 2 minutes of dead air. And it sounded like he was really losing it. And he mentioned that something is going to happen, and
Yes.
there's no one telling us what's going to happen.
That's right.
What, you want to tell us what he might have said at the end?
At the end, there was, he was saying he was on the line too long. At the end, there was a scream, and the line went dead. I'm just telling you what happened. And of course, at that point, my hotline was ringing. I was getting real busy because we were off the air. And so, the network was telling me we were off from this end. And so I was, at that point, contacting people trying to establish a backup system, and they were running Mark Furby. And so that's where everything ended. I stopped listening and stopped functioning as I normally do at exactly that point. So
That was a good call, and that's one that might have to be played again. Maybe I'd like to hear it again.
well, you know what? It can't be, well, except for up to the point where the network lost it.
Oh,
In other words, I don't, as a matter of course, record here. The network records, but they would have only recorded up to the point where it went dead. Now I'll tell you this: I would like to hear it myself. So when we get everything back to normal, I'm going to have the network play that back so I can hear it.
do you think it was legitimate?
I really at this moment can't say. I find it rather strange that everything failed during that call.
Yeah, that was weird because I was playing with my dial, wondering what happened if something was wrong with my radio. There was dead air for a good 2 minutes.
Man, that's serious for WLS in Chicago.
Yeah.
Dead air.
And another thing, that first caller, the first Area 51 caller, it
Yes.
seems like that guy had a lot to say.
I agree with you.
I think he should call back sometime. I think he's got a lot to talk about.
Well, we're hearing, we've had a lot of strange calls. I should have done this a long time ago. All right, thank you.
All right, Kevin, one more thing.
Yeah.
There's a program with Jim Collier debating Richard Goldman about
Yes.
whether we should walk on the moon.
Yes, yes.
And I've been listening to you for about a year, and I think that was one of the best programs I ever heard.
Well, they really went at each other. It's funny. People had either a very positive or a very negative reaction to that program. Some people sent me emails that it was the worst thing they ever heard.
No, I thought it was very hard-hitting and entertaining.
Well, that's what it's all about. Thanks, Davis. Take care. On my Area 51 line, you're on the air. Where? Rochester, New York. Are you an ex-Area 51 employee?
No, I'm not. I've got some valid points.
Well, then you're going to have to make your valid points on another line. Now, this is a special line. Only Area 51 employees call this line. So contact me on one of the other lines. All right? All right. Thank you. See, you can't cheat. The rules are the rules. East of the Rockies,
7 years.
Would be, yes.
We have seen the silent craft that you've talked about. And also, it's interesting, and I am near Whidbey Naval Air Station here, and I've worked on that base for almost 7 years.
Would be, yes.
We have seen the silent craft that you've talked about. And also, it's interesting that they have areas here.
Triangular craft, sir?
The silent ones, I couldn't, yes. Well, long story, actually, I'm one, but my wife saw them. We wasn't a couple 300 yards from them.
You're relying on her description physically.
Yes, but I was there to vouch that there was no noise. And she saw them very plainly for about 2 or 3 minutes.
Boy, of all the times that it would be hard to be sightless, that would be one.
I agree. It would be, but another interesting, first of all, may I say one thing about the call? It's called between 11 and 11:30.
Which one?
From Area 51,
Yes.
that was talking about the Supreme Commandant or whatever that was.
Oh, yes, yes.
You need to know that he was the same guy that called when you had that Men in Black line.
Well, you know what? There are several people who have said that, and I don't doubt it. I don't doubt it at all. It could be true.
And he was telling somewhat different, similar stories.
Similar story. It could have been the same one.
Yeah.
It absolutely could have been the same one, but it could still be a valid call.
But it's interesting about this naval air station up here. I'll probably have somebody to go if you know this, but they have areas up here that are posted no photographs beyond this point,
Yes, there is.
and many areas on the base that, of course, are more or less restricted. Well, some of that I understand. But when I worked there, they had this giant underground construction going on. Humongous kind of earth movers and things in here.
All underground?
Yes, sir.
What were they doing?
And they denied it.
They denied it.
Well, this is so ridiculous you're not going to believe it, but it's the truth. When we would ask anybody out there, of course, they would deny that anything spectacular was being built, and yet we could see these huge earth movers that are too big to miss. I'm an entertainer, so I didn't work directly with them, but I worked at one of the clubs there. And every time they would scoop out a big scoop of earth, we could feel the whole club shake, you know. And they always denied that anything special was going on.
What do you think they were doing?
I'm not sure, but I do know that there is some, must be a rather large underground complex there. Whether it's a safety, a hardened site like you have the mountains back there, or what it is, I don't know for sure. But
And how long ago was this?
this would have been in 90 and 91. This project extended over some period of time.
Well, I'd sure love to know what's down there, wouldn't you?
Yes, sir.
You take care. I appreciate your call. Thank you.
Thank you.
Take care. Whidbey Island, huh? Anybody else know about the diggings under Whidbey Island? What do you suppose we might be doing? Well, operating on a backup system, but we are still here. I'm Art Bell, and this is Coast to Coast AM.
And now back to the best of Art Bell.
This is Coast to Coast AM with Art Bell. Now again, here's Art.
Well, now again, here I am. We remain, ladies and gentlemen, on a backup system at this part. The transmitter on this end, apparently having had a massive heart attack or stroke, I don't know. Everything's out. Literally everything's out. And to add to the mystery, I just verified it. Last words for this to better control the remaining population, and then I guess according to this faxer, that's where we went off the air. Then I got another fax a moment ago saying, Art, during that exact moment that you went off the air, the counter on the website jumped by about 300 and you went over 5 million. And I just checked it out. I'm on my own website right now, and he is exactly correct. We went over 5 million. Now I wonder if I go to my own live studio cam, which is not live right now, what the last picture taken was before all of this began to happen. And I'm looking at it right now. Here we are. Interesting. You can see me on a telephone, and you can see my mystery guest in the background. Before the program is over today, I will tell you who he is. But you can see the moment of the catastrophic moment was captured in the last studio live cam shot that we sent to the net. And you'll see me sort of counting on the phone, and you'll see my guest making notes like crazy. Man, what a night. Broadcast. There's nothing like live broadcasting in the entire world. There's nothing like live broadcasting, ladies and gentlemen. Nothing. Now, I just talked to my boss at the network, Alan Corbett, and he said, in 35 years of broadcasting, this is the weirdest event that I've ever heard. And I second that. There are presently engineers racing to the network, probably already there at this hour. And so it's pretty weird. This whole thing is pretty weird. On the first time caller line, you're on the air. Hello. Actually, it's not the first time caller line. This is my Area 51 line.
And it says 702-727-1222 is the first time caller.
Well, that's right, but I take it you're a first time caller.
Yes, I am.
See, I'm restricting this line to Area 51 callers, although I'm now beginning to get a little shy about talking. So,
Okay.
bad things happen when you talk.
I had an interesting comment about an air show with a stealth fighter pilot that maybe might be a little interesting.
All right.
Just a couple quick comments if I can say.
Yeah, okay, slip them in. Go ahead.
Okay. Going to put them in now?
No, you're on the air. I mean, turn your radio on. You're on.
Okay. It makes you wonder about some of these people on Air 51, physical trail, verbal trail, what they do with this. Well, I was down at an air show in Oklahoma, and they had a stealth fighter pilot down there. It was after the Gulf War.
Yeah.
A lot of people asking questions to me, saying how they were on the cutting edge of technology, being able not to be tracked by radar. And he said that they are restricted to what they know, but yet they do know quite about the aircraft. And people were following and asking questions. I'm kind of a skeptic. I asked him, well, what's going to happen, with all these secrets of America being, bought for Russians and whatnot? What will they do with what you know? I said, are they going to set you up on a Caribbean island and, give you the real treatment?
Yeah.
And, I mean, his tone changed, and he said, first of all, I served my country, and I'd never do anything like that. It was almost like I struck a nerve, like, this is something that, maybe makes him wonder, too, that, when they release him for fighter duty, what are they going to do with him? So, it makes you wonder, like that guy saying that he took care of gas.
Gas?
What's the deal? I mean, did they just end any policy?
I think what he referred to as gaps end up being lumps in the desert.
I think so. It makes you wonder, like that guy saying that he took care of gas.
Gaps?
What's the deal? I mean, did they just end any policy?
I think what he referred to as gaps end up being lumps in the desert. All right, listen, I gotta run.
Okay.
Thanks.
Listening to a rebroadcast of one of RFL's most popular programs. When you hear phone numbers, please do not call.
Now, from the people of Nine, for Coast to Coast AM with Art Bell. Here again is Art.
Tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to leave this last photograph up that was taken when we went down off the air. And you'll see me with a white phone line, which is my hotline, talking to the network. And you will see my 51 calls? No, I won't. Will my link go down? It might. So, folks, no guarantees about what is to come, but hey, what the hell? We'll live once. On the international line, you're on the air. Where are you calling from, please?
Canada.
Victoria, Canada. All right. Well, program. Pretty weird, huh?
Yeah, I just don't know if you know, but your international feed's gone down too up here.
I beg your pardon?
Your international feed to Canada's gone down.
It has?
Yeah, well, I'm not hearing you guys from up here in Canada, but I can hear KIRO from Seattle.
From Seattle. So you're not hearing us in Canada? What station would you be hearing it on?
I normally be hearing it on CPAC.
CPAX.
Yeah,
All right. Well, if it ain't one thing, it's another.
I guess so.
Yeah. Well, any comments on Area 51? You want to blow me off a few more stations?
Oh, I can't think of anything on Area 51, although I kind of had the idea or thought that maybe you're broadcasting from Area 50.
You think so?
I don't know.
Close by, I'll tell you that much anyway. All right. Thank you very much for the call, and I'm glad you can at least hear us wherever it is you're listening. On my Area 51 line, see, I won't stop. You're on the air.
Oh, stop.
Yes. Well, you're listening, right?
Yes, sir. Security.
This is what they make backup systems for.
Oh, right on. Right on. What's security?
For Area 51,
Area 51.
currently,
Current.
aren't you risking quite a bit by talking to us?
No, because professional cleaners, they dig a lot of holes in the desert.
Professional cleaners?